To Canberra now, and the Coalition will move to block 6 million Australians from getting access to cheaper medicines from next month. Like to Trudy McIntosh, it's going to be a Senate showdown today. So what sparked this, Trudy?
Well, Pete, today's the final day of Parliament before the cheaper medicines plan are due to kick in from September the 1st. Labor has proposed this policy which would see millions of Australians be able to get a 60-day script rather than a 30-day one. So essentially half-price medicines. It's available for certain type of long-term prescriptions if you've been on a drug for a long time. But the Pharmacy Guild has been furiously lobbying against this both publicly and privately. They say that it's going to mean pharmacists have to close their doors in some instances, that there'll be job losses. They've been making all of these claims about the potential of flow-on impacts. At the start, they even said we didn't have enough medicine in this country to do that, but that was quickly debunked by the government. Health Minister Mark Butler is trying to negotiate with the Senate crossbench to ensure that this does not get up today, that Australians can still get access to cheaper medicine, but there is a real threat over that. In return, Mr Butler is now threatening to tear up negotiations with the Pharmacy Guild over the longer-term funding arrangement. This was the Shadow Finance Minister, Jane Hume, this morning. By opposing this plan today, essentially the Coalition is going to vote against cost of living relief going to Australians, but Jane Hume says they need to get the detail right.
Let me be very clear. We support 60-day dispensing as a cost of living measure. We support cheaper medicines, but this policy was rushed. They didn't consult with the pharmacies that are affected by it. We want to make sure that it is done right.
The Senate will vote on this later this morning. The Coalition is the one to move this, but the numbers here are fascinating, and it is pretty clear at the moment that the government is worried. My conversations with cabinet ministers, there is a concern that potentially the Coalition will have the numbers to block cheaper medicines today in the Senate. You can see One Nation and former Liberal David Van will support this. The Greens are going to side with Labor, but there are still question mark, Pete, on every other crossbencher. We've contacted all of these officers. David Pocock's office, they're reserving their position. The same for Ralph Babette. There's a meeting in their office this morning to determine a position. I'm told that the crossbench is coordinating on this matter. So a lot of pressure is being put on them from both sides, Pete. I'm told the Pharmacy Guild has been putting a lot of pressure on. The government's been putting a lot of pressure on to ensure that they can actually get this cheaper medicine to be delivered to Australians.
So just to be clarify for the folks at home, Trudy, do they just need one?
Yeah.
Crossbencher?
Yes, so they need one of the crossbenchers to side with the government. But I was told explicitly today that the Health Minister does not just want one. For the certainty of this policy, he would like to have at least two crossbenchers to vote with the government in order to have some certainty.
All right, Trudy McIntosh, crosses as always. What a doozy that's going to be today. Thanks, Trudy.